Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. I am your host, Kelvin KT Speaks. I am the host of the Entrepreneur Doctor podcast, and we are doing our Women's Empowerment series, and we have a super duper guest in the house today. We have Miss Bridget Harris in here today, and she is a beauty mogul, and she is a visionary. She founded Orem 79 Beauty, knowing firsthand the challenges of being a Black woman consumer. She knew the lack that existed for Black and brown women in the beauty world, whether it be lack of access, lack of representation, lack of products, or all different types of things that affect women in the beauty world. She's worked with brands such as Coke, Coors, Pepsi, and a whole bunch of others. And we're going to find out in the lab today what exactly she's doing. And in the lab, what we like to do is we like to work on people's businesses to keep them off of life support. That's our motto. That's what we do every day in the lab. So we're going to have a great day with her in the studio today. And everybody give me a great hand for her right now.
Thank you for the invite. I'm excited.
No problem. Now listen, I did something just for you. Hang on, right there. This is just for you, okay?
Okay. Hey.
Yeah, that's for you because I love your caption.
Love it.
Sicker than your average.
That's right.
So tell me, based on that, I know that you are a 90s hip hop head. You love the nostalgia of the 90s. What did the 90s mean to you?
I mean, the 90s, that's when I was like, I wasn't a baby. I wasn't an adult. It was like my coming of age time. So it was just everything to me, like the best music, the best gear, the best TV shows, the best movies. Like it was my coming of age time. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the 90s.
Listen, it was a golden age.
I'm okay with that.
Right. It was a golden age of hip hop. It definitely was. I mean, I like the 80s got some things started, but the 90s was like the meat on the bone to me. So it was awesome. It was awesome. So I really appreciate that. So when I saw that, one of your captions, it really moved me too. I understood the assignment.
I think it's cute nowadays with like the I call it the young people. I'm like, oh, y'all love us. Y'all love the 90s.
Absolutely. Well, so tell us about yourself. So what's the deal with you? What have you been doing? How'd you get started? What's going on?
Yeah, so I actually have been working in marketing and advertising for the last 15 plus years. I've done agency side work. Most of my career was actually agency side. I'm an alumni of Purdue University, born and raised in Gary, Indiana, and then went to Purdue. And then once I graduated, my parents had already moved out of Gary, so I spent some time in Indianapolis getting my master's, and then headed to Chicago to get to work, and been there ever since. And I've spent most of my time advertising. Then I did some client side work, some brand work for the client side. And I really just I've always had the entrepreneurial itch, like wanted to start something, but just not sure which direction to go. And Orem was really birthed out of necessity for, it wasn't me thinking so hard, like, what should I do? I was literally like going on a trip. Me and my girlfriends were headed to Colombia. I wanted to, have sunscreen because I was actually just starting to learn about the fact that Black people need sunscreen as well.
Right.
So this was a few years ago. And I'm looking for some sunscreen that's not going to leave a white film all over me because, Instagram pictures need to be popping.
Right.
And I couldn't find one. So then I'm looking online, and I did find one called Unsun. And then I'm running around, last minute packing. I'm going to Target and Ulta and CVS. It's nowhere to be found. And so that kind of sparked my interest in all these Black and brown owned beauty brands that don't have access to traditional retail space. They're made for us. And just to be clear, all of them, some of the products can be used with non-Black people too. It's not like for us, by us necessarily. But it's all these amazing quality products and people don't know about them and they don't have access to them and they're not in stores. You're not going to walk in Walgreens and Walmart and Target and find these brands. And so I wanted to create a platform to give them access.
Okay, awesome. So
and try to take all the stuff that I've done for all these major brands in the past.
Right.
And now how do I do it for, for myself and for these other brands?
Right. Yeah. A lot of times entrepreneurs are born. Sometimes they're forced in fire and it just happens. So sometimes it just happened organically. You saw a need and you're trying to fill it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So your current business model, is it e-commerce online only?
It's all online right now. I don't think that we'll be looking for brick and mortar, like an Orem 79 beauty store.
Right.
But I will be looking for in-store opportunities.
Okay.
So if there are existing retailers, and that's more of like a 3 to 5 year plan, but getting into some existing retailers that are different. So it may be just a clothing store, but then we'll kind of build out the beauty section of that.
Gotcha. So how did you come up with the name Orem?
So Orem is the Latin word for gold.
Okay.
And 79 is the chemical number for gold.
Wow.
So I was kind of throwing it around. And when I was thinking about it, it represented so many different things. Like it represented the golden hue in people with melanin, no matter how dark, how light, there's this golden hue that we have. But then also gold is used for technology, for health. It has all these like utility uses, but then it's also used just for beauty, just to make things look pretty. And so I think that was really the combining utility with beauty. And that's what we're trying to do. Like most of our products are focused on skincare, hair care. So it's not really about makeup. It's about getting your actual skin in order first, getting your actual hair in order first, but also just the user experience. So it's where utility meets beauty, and that was where gold came from for us.
Okay. That's awesome. That's a lot deeper than I thought it would be. I mean, that's a great name. Entrepreneurs, remember, we're in the lab. We're trying to get medicine for your businesses. That this is a woman, powerful woman entrepreneur, and she's giving us some nuggets of gold, matter of fact.
Of gold, right.
So,
and there's a such thing as the gold standard. There's a reason why it's called the gold standard. That's the best of the best. So that's what we want to be when it comes to new beauty and discovering new beauty, the gold standard in new and inclusive beauty. And I'm glad you pronounced it right, because people struggle with it. And that makes me nervous. Like, dang, did I pick something too confusing? But
well, no, it's something that means something. Because I tell people all the time on the show here in the lab when we try to keep people business off life support. When you have a name or a brand, I call a brand. My definition of a brand is a psychological relationship between a consumer and a product. Because once you dig into the psyche and people believe it and understand it for whatever reason, they may just like it because the tagline or slogan or things like that, they're great, that kind of stuff.
Right, right. Or they remember it, some kind of jingle or something that they that stick with, Right,
or service. It could be something like, one thing that Chick-fil-A is known for is awesome service.
Yep.
Like you see that line wrapped around the building, you're like, I'm not going to eat today. But you get in that line, 8 to 10 minutes, you're eating, and it's awesome.
That's right.
So that sticks in the brain. That's a psychological relationship. You start to believe in that product, and that's the same thing that you guys are trying to accomplish with Orem Beauty. With that, that's awesome. I'm excited about that. I like that.
Thank you.
So as you go forward with your business, I'm sure like you said, you spoke about a 3 to 5 year plan. How do you determine what projects to pursue? Like with the business, like if you want to do a pop-up shop, or if there's something that you might another brand or a company you want to try to partner with, like do you guys pursue those types of things? And when you do, how do you determine what's best for you to go after?
That's a good question. I think some of it is based on relationships that we have. I have 2 co-founders as well. So we've kind of tapped into our networks when we think about stuff like that. We did a social partnership last year with Akira, and just evaluating, and we did have to evaluate that partnership. Like, is this the right partner for our brand? But it is, because, it is, it's a little more niche than, a regular chain store.
Right. Okay.
And so that was kind of what helped fuel that, but also because we had a relationship with them.
Right.
So I think it's looking at stuff like that. And I say like 3 to 5 year plan, just out of habit, being in
Right.
marketing
Right.
and advertising. But I think times are changing where
Right.
I don't know if you can put together a 3-year plan and
Right.
and really have it be as effective anymore. I think you have to put together like a 12-month plan,
Yeah.
work that, know that there may be some pivots along the way, but then reevaluating that and then seeing what you do for year 2. Because I don't know, with the way things are moving in this world,
Yeah.
if a 3-year plan is even relevant anymore.
Right. Well, yeah,
But
because of social media and everything, things do move at the speed of light now. So you're right. You got to kind of,
yeah,
and I'm glad you said the word pivot. Entrepreneurs, listen, pivot means to change direction.
yes,
Improvisation. You have to be ready to move and stay nimble on your feet.
you
Things
have
happen.
to be. You have to
Right.
be. And
Gotcha.
if you aren't prepared, if you're locked into one kind of way of working and
Right.
you haven't even thought about how it looks to pivot, you're a blockbuster. I mean, they weren't ready, and now
There you
they're
go.
gone.
Now they're gone.
Like, don't be
Entrepreneur, pay
blockbuster.
attention. Keep it staying. We're in the lab. This is medicine she's giving y'all. These are prescriptions for your business. Pay
Right.
attention. Hey, I'm telling you, pay attention. She's dropping some good stuff on you guys. You talked about 3 founders. How do you guys determine who handles what with the business? Is everybody active in the
Everybody
business?
is active. I came up with the idea. I went to one of my good friends and former colleagues, and she was completely on board. And she recommended someone else, and she was on board. And so I think we've all come from marketing and advertising
Right.
backgrounds, but then
hmm
we've kind of slid off into different disciplines. So I think that's what helps, is like one of us is, she has 10 plus years in the beauty industry. I
Gotcha.
spent a lot of time in the liquor industry. So in the beverage industry. So I didn't have a lot of beauty specific experience. So it was great bringing someone on board who could really have that, that
Right.
side of the business and kind of give
Right.
us marketing intelligence and things
hmm
like that. And then my other business partner, she was also in the liquor industry with me,
hmm
but she's very good with like building relationships, and so she's kind of over all of our vendor relationships. So we'll identify people that we want to go after, and she'll manage that. And then I manage the day to day and the operations and the content and the Instagram and all that stuff. So
Gotcha.
we all kind of have our own disciplines, but we all come from a similar background. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's awesome. I mean, entrepreneurs, there's nothing wrong with partnerships.
yeah,
Find people,
yeah,
find a circle. I tell people all the time, find a circle, people with like-minded thought processes,
yes.
and people who can help you move forward. And that way, you can kind of work on a curve a lot faster if you
And
got partnership.
sometimes I'll say, if you want to, I think it's helpful to have people, and even if they're not your like equity shared business
Right.
partners,
hmm
it's great to have people to bounce ideas off of, to get a second eye, a third eye, an
Right.
opinion. Because I always say, like, I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything. So,
Right.
like, I need somebody to say, well, maybe not this way. Have you thought about it that way? And if
Right.
it's not a business partner, I would recommend getting a business coach.
Yeah.
And I've been working for a long time. I've been in senior leadership roles, but it's different when you're doing it for yourself. So I'm like,
hmm
okay, I've invested in a business coach. I have a business coach just for my continued leadership development and understanding how to better run a business,
Yeah.
because I've led experiences with the Coca-Colas and the Pepsis
hmm
and the Miller Coors, but I've
Right.
had 20 people working around me that
hmm
I'm directing. I've
Right.
had a whole client team and a multi-million-dollar budget.
Okay.
I ain't got that now.
Okay.
Now it's me with my bootstrapping money and it's different. Like, how do I make this come to life? And
Yeah.
you need people to help guide that process.
Absolutely. I wrote a couple of books. One book was the 80-pound chimp or the 800-pound gorilla. Which one are you? That's a book that talks about the dynamic of being, softer personality or harder personality. But also a book I wrote, The Entrepreneur Spouse, that talks about, I say spouse, but it's really a metaphor for people. And it talks about the dynamics of people in your life and around you who can be supportive or not be supportive. And I tell people all the time, it's really people who don't really support. They're really dealing with their own intrinsic fear of who they are. Like, don't tell me I can't do that business because you don't feel you can do that business.
Right.
And so, and I say all that because what she said, everybody, was circles are important. Circle of influence, circle of people who are like-minded and who want to work with you and can help you. And they don't have to be necessarily an equity share partner, but someone who is a confidant you can bounce ideas off of and who will do it with a positive spirit.
Yes.
Not into that zone of they don't know whether they like it or hate it because they in the hateration mode.
Right. And not with just an opinion, like give me some background on why this may not or may be a good or bad idea.
Yes.
Not just, I don't really like that. If you asking somebody and they just say they don't like it because they don't like it, but they're not telling you why, that's not helpful.
At all. So that's good to know. So guys, pay attention to that. That's really important stuff. So thus far, with you guys having been done so many things so far, what are you most proud of at this moment so far into your entrepreneur life?
Well, I still consider myself like a newbie. I'm still an entrepreneur baby because we are like 1 year and 4 months old, like 1.5 years almost. So I think about it in 3 different phases. Like you build a business, you grow a business, you scale a business.
Right.
And we're not at the scaling stage yet. We're not quite to the growth. We're building still. So I'm still in the process of building my business. What I am most proud about is the fact that in this 1.5 years that I've been doing this, I took a leap of faith. I'm not going back to my 9 to 5. I've been offered jobs. Right. I look on LinkedIn sometimes and it gets very tempting to be like, ooh, let me apply for this job. But I'm proud that I have stuck with it, and it hasn't been easy and it hasn't been like, oh, we launched a business and now I'm a millionaire. Like it don't work like that. So I'm proud that we're still going, that I'm still going, that I'm committed to this. And I'm also proud that I do have a lot of like the people that believe in this business always make me feel good. Like when I'm sharing it with somebody and they're like, oh, okay. And I see, a week later, they've made a purchase or they're subscribing and they follow us on Instagram or they've joined our newsletter. Because it's not always about purchasing something either. Sometimes we just need a community of people to look at what we're doing and that money will come later. But right now, just am I providing some value to you? And when I hear feedback that I am, that makes me proud.
That's awesome. As an entrepreneur, being your own boss, one of the most valuable things you can have is time. It provides time. When you can do what you want to do, when you want to do it, you can't really, there's nothing that compares to that. I talk about that because you just mentioned the 9 to 5 grind. I tell people all the time, before you leave, that business can be your business partner if you need financing, if you need help, trying to carve out a little bit of money to try to put a plan together to try to use that. And maybe you can do both things at the same time. But once you reach that precipice, it's that I call it the breaking point. When you hit that point, when it's time to go, it's time to go. She jumped. Yeah. And she's flying and doing a great job. And I love the way your presence on social media.
Oh,
you do a great job. No, you do an awesome
you.
job. And that was one of the things that drew us to you as a network. I was like, you know what? We're having our Powerful Women series, and she would be awesome on it. And I kind of know you a little bit too, so I kind of know, from whence you came. So I think
Yeah.
it's awesome that you're doing what you're doing, and it's important. And like you say, the 9 to 5 grind. When once you experience that time and that freedom to do what you have to do, you just got to stay focused to make sure you get your business going and keep it going so it can feed you. But at the same time, once you get a taste of that time, there's no going back. Even if you go back,
Right.
you'll be checked out mentally because you'll know what the other side looks like already. So,
right. And I
so
started it. I came up with the idea in 2018.
Okay.
So 2018, I had the idea. I found my business partners. 2019, first half of 2019 was really building the long form business plan.
Right.
Like let's write this thing out, nuts and bolts, and see what we're working with. We did some testing, preliminary surveys with groups of women. It was like 150 women, just people that we knew, just to see if, concept tested, to make sure it was headed in the right direction. Then we started building a social media presence mid 2019 so that when we did start reaching out to vendors, we could already have some kind of existence, because nowadays you say you have a business, people are going to your Instagram before they're going to your website. So we were building that social media presence. Then at the top of 2020, we're like, okay, it's time to start reaching out to vendors. I didn't leave my job till June 2020.
Okay.
So I spent a year and a half doing both, and then took the leap. So I would say that too. If you have a great idea and you have money saved up, go ahead and jump. But if you aren't in that position and you can still give it some time, you're going to be tired because you're going to work your 9 to 5. Then you got to come home and work your 6 to 12, which is your business. But do it in a way that works for you and your bank account, I'd say.
Ladies and gentlemen, she said one thing that's powerful, and that deserves a little bit of love right there.
Thanks.
Hey, she understood the assignment and she executed it properly. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. So as a person, you're doing some things in business. Are you satisfied? Are you happy?
I feel happy. Yeah, I'm happy. Everything's new. I'm like in a brand new space. I'm newly married. I'm newly working this business. Thank you. So it's kind of like this new world for me, and I'm enjoying it. I feel like I have, like Auntie Maxine, I've reclaimed my time, and I'm doing now what I want to do. And I will say this too. I don't know, like, shout out to my husband, because I don't know that I would have been able to quit my job and just do my business if I didn't have that support, so
absolutely.
All of that matters. My parents have helped, and support looks different because my parents are two of my biggest supporters, but my mother has said, so you're not gonna get a real job?
Right.
And I'm like, this is my real job though, Mom. But she supports it. And so it looks different. But no, I feel like I'm happy. Yes, I do.
That's good. That's good. And she made a good point, people. That when we talk about the circle, when I talk about the Entrepreneur Spouse book, it's important to have people around you who understand. Our parents are from another time.
They're from another time. So it's like
they understand 9 to 5 for a certain period of time, and they have to adjust. But Mom is positive, so that's what she needs. She needs positive reinforcement. So you guys need to look for that as well. Like I told you, in the lab, we prescribe medicine. They pay attention. Entrepreneurs, people who are around you who don't necessarily support it. It's not that they don't even believe in you; they don't believe in them. So you have to be careful. So that is awesome. I'm glad you have a supportive spouse, supportive parents, family. That whole dynamic is so important to your mental well-being.
It is. It is. And because it's days where, like, motivation, a lot of people are like, you got to stay motivated in order to make it happen. Listen, motivation comes and goes. It's been days where I'm like, I'm not motivated today to do this business. I don't feel like I'm moving at the pace that I need to be moving, and I'm not motivated, but I'm dedicated. And that's the difference. I could take a day and be like, I wasn't motivated yesterday. I watched Girlfriends on Netflix all day. I tapped out.
She binge watched it.
Right. But I'm dedicated. So then tomorrow I got to get back up and I got to grind and, dust off, shake it off, keep it moving. And I think the other thing is, and I struggle with this too, is just the patience of it all. And I feel like a lot of society now, I won't even say it's just on the youth, it's a very like microwave society. Like I started, here I am, I should be rich by next week. And that's not how it goes.
No.
And you're looking at other people on their Instagrams, and you know, one of the things that I said we're not going to do, we're not going to buy followers. No, like there's no way. So I've seen brands, competitor brands or similar brands that they've started out, and then out the gate within 2 weeks they have like 20,000 followers.
Right.
And I'm like, dang, like people must really like them.
Right.
But then I look at their engagement and it's like, oh, y'all had 16 likes on this post. Right. Like you don't have 20,000 followers. You bought them and it looks good. But like we have 1,500 followers, which is not a lot. Like I want 10,000 followers, but I'd rather have 1,500 people that actually signed up because they wanted to sign up, that actually look at what I'm doing and want to receive it versus the numbers. Like, and I think that's just a social media thing that has creeped in to everybody at this point.
500 people at $2,000 is $1 million. So
hello,
it's about quality over quantity, people, and that's what she's saying. Buying bots and all this stuff right here, it's just not necessary. I think organically is the best because that's, like you said, that's real.
Yeah.
And those are people who are going to get with you and stay with you and see your team, and your people who believe you are the people who support you. A base of clients, it's like politics. Your base, those are the people that support you even when you're wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they're not sure what you're doing, but they're like, look, I know I believe in Bridget and I'm with you. Right. I don't know if you're going to sell a 1 tube of lipstick, but guess what? We're with you.
Right.
So, but yeah, and that's what you need. That's what you need.
Yeah.
That's important. So as a business owner, you do a lot of stuff, and I'm sure you probably, well, I did talk about time being yours, but you probably have to have some type of schedule. So are you regimented, or do you kind of let the day come?
I need a list. I'm regimented. I got that Virgo energy. I have a desk calendar with Post-it notes on it for the big things. I have a daily calendar down to the hour, and I have my regular notebook. And so between managing those things, now I have to make a list of things to do, and then I go through and check off my list because I'm just not that. If I don't write it down, I won't remember to do it. Gotcha.
So as a human being who is in business for themselves, what are your first thoughts of the day when you wake up?
I hate to say this. The very first thing that I do is grab my phone.
Okay.
And look on Instagram.
Okay.
My first thought is probably around content.
Okay.
Just in terms of what content we can put out, what content I need to be doing today. How did my content that I did yesterday perform? Okay. And I feel like that's important. Some people say, joke about like we need to wake up and do something different before we pick up our phones. But I find it helpful for the business that I'm in, is e-commerce. Content plays a huge role in me being able to deliver the message. Right. The brands that are on our platform are the brands that, they don't have the Rihanna and the $1 million budgets and stuff like that. So for me, it's a little bit challenging because I'm new too. So it's like small fish trying to help small fish. Right. But so I'm very cognizant of like, okay, I'm in a position where I'm trying to not only help myself, but I have these other brands that are on my platform and I'm trying to push them forward too. So that's why the content is so important to me. But that's the first thing that I think about. Gotcha.
Okay. Well, lift as we climb. That's a good concept. I think it helps everybody, So with that being said, what do you think as a woman entrepreneur? What do you think is one of the most important things a woman in business should know?
That you deserve to be there. Okay. I had an old manager of mine tell me one time, these are the words that one of the phrases that I live by, which is trust your dopeness, period. And I think a lot of women feel sometimes like more gratitude for being allowed into the space that they're in. And
Okay.
yes, you should be thankful to God that you are in spaces that you wanted to be in, but know that you deserve to be there. If you're there, you deserve to be there. So
Right.
speak up, say what you got to say. Don't don't shy away from it. Take up
Mhm.
space. Take up space at the
Right.
table,
I like
like
that.
you deserve to be there. And I've seen it. I've done it. I've
Hmm.
seen it done where we could get more quiet in a room full of men. I worked in the beer industry. I was the
Mm.
only woman
Right.
and
I
the
can
only
imagine.
black woman in the room a lot of times.
Okay.
And it it made me feel a way. I was also one of the youngest people in the room. So I'm
Okay.
the only black person, I'm the only woman, and I'm one of the youngest people in the room.
Wow.
That made me quiet myself.
Okay.
And I would sit at a table and I would even think like how I would want to say something, but then I wouldn't say it, but then somebody else would say it. Then I would beat myself up because I'm like, dang, I should have said it because I had that same thought, or I could have said
Right.
that, or, and so I don't want other women. I've grown out of that, but it took some time. And it took mentors, great mentors helping me along the way, but ask your questions, take up your space, say what you got to say.
I really like that. Take up space. That's
Hmm.
important because you're right. Sometimes we can get small around other people
Yeah.
when we
Yeah,
shouldn't be.
exactly.
That's important. That's important. And you kind of answered this next question I wanted to ask you. So, have there been additional challenges because you were a woman of color? Is it just that men being dismissive in certain environments, or vendors
Yeah.
looking at you kind of sideways because you're a woman?
It hasn't been, I haven't experienced it in my entrepreneurial journey
Okay.
yet. Because most of my women, vendors are woman owned businesses, all of
Okay.
them actually, except for one, and it's a husband wife
Okay.
owned. So aside from them, all of the brands are woman led,
Okay.
and they are minority woman. I hate the word minority, black and
Gotcha.
Latino woman owned led. Prior to that, though, just in corporate, yes, I did feel dismissed or
Mm,
not heard, or just and 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 some of it was my own, fault
mm,
of not speaking up enough.
okay.
And I think that just came too from my first, like when I graduated college, I went to an internship at the Indiana General Assembly. So I was working with all the state legislators and the
Politician.
Senate and all
Okay.
that stuff.
Hmm.
And I was working very closely with the Ways and Means.
Okay.
And if people who don't know, Ways and Means, that's the money. That's the
Yep.
people who hand out all the money for the state.
In different ways for different means.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. Right. So when I left that internship, I had hella offers from nonprofits because I had a relationship with the Ways and Means.
Hmm.
And I remember taking my first job. I took it because there was the one place that had an office door. And
Okay.
I had that was super grown to me. Like I got a
Right.
whole
Like an office.
office with a door.
Yep.
Like
Right.
so but I was a PR manager. So I
Okay.
wasn't like an assistant or associate. Like I was the manager. I ran all the media. If there was a appearance, it was me, all the press releases. And I'll just say like I wasn't quite ready for that. Now my father is a journalist and an
Okay.
author. And so he became my mentor because I didn't quite know what I was doing. I'm really good at selling myself into a position, but then I was 22 years old, and
Okay.
it made me cautious about asking questions because I never wanted people to think I didn't know.
Didn't know. Gotcha.
So I
Gotcha.
would just take the information and listen, and then I'll figure it out later. And I'll say there are pros and cons to that, but later in life, it became a thing like where I was still afraid to ask questions because I didn't want people to think that I didn't know the answers.
Right.
But one of the most helpful things you can do is ask questions. Please, everybody, if
Mm.
you do not know, don't walk away and then put it on yourself to try to figure it out. It's unnecessary. You can do that, but it's just unnecessary.
It's stressful.
It's stressful. And it took me till being like one of my, I was working for this Black owned agency, and one of the owners of the agency called it out. Like, well, you don't have any questions? Like everything I just said, you don't have any questions. And I did have questions, but I was just afraid to ask them because I thought it would make me look bad. Right. And that's when I was like, oh, well, yes, I do. And then I realized all the smart people in the room ask questions.
Yeah, that's how they get smart.
That's how they get smart. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So, learning, things you got to learn through. But I would just say, don't feel like because you're the only woman at the table, your question's dumb. Ask your question. Like, say what you have to say, make your comments, ask your questions, and take up space.
Listen, I love that take up space line. We're going to use that. We're going to make sure we promote that right there.
Yes.
But entrepreneurs, pay attention. This is what we do on the Entrepreneur Doctor podcast. We're in the lab. We create medicine and prescriptions for your business because our motto is we help keep you and your business off of life support. Because we're all going through it. We're all trying to figure it out. Those of us who's been around a while and those of us who are just getting started and those who are in the middle. That's something we try to do and to make people aware of the fact that they matter and they should take up space. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
So what's next for the next generation and how do you feel Orem can impact it?
I'm really proud of this next generation so far. I feel like they are willing and able to take chances. They have that hubris that sometimes we and generations before us didn't have. And so I think that one, where Orem comes into play is what I'm trying to do is build a legacy. I'm trying to create opportunities. I'm trying to help build a table so that they can have seats, so they can have a seat at the table, have a seat at my table. One of the things that we are adamant about at Orem 79 Beauty is brands that are quality, 5-star brands, but they don't have the access to traditional retail space. So I think for the next generation of beauty founders and people who come up with these dope products that they want to put on the market, but they don't have the $1 million budget or the access to get into Target, we will grow and we will be that go-to for new beauty. So in that niche, I'm hoping that we provide that space and we continue to grow and develop so that new beauty entrepreneurs know that if they want to succeed as their first step, they come to us.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now, do you guys try to do product placement in stores as well as direct online sales, or is that a model you guys are not working on?
Not yet. Not yet. But we may do some in some offbeat retailers. Like gotcha. The whole goal is not to be like, it's not necessarily to get in Walmart or Target. Gotcha. But if it's a dope, there's some boutique clothing stores. Right. And we may have some product in some of those stores, or it may be a spa where we have products in different spas and things like that. So I would say, yes, we will be looking to do that.
How do you source the actual products? Is it something that you guys have manufactured, or you have a great relationship with companies that make what you need them to make?
Well, all of our products are, we don't have any proprietary products. Gotcha. We will have some in the near future. Right. But right now, all of our products, we found them, a lot of the products we found through social media. Gotcha. Once we launched our website, we have a sign up on our website, become a vendor, and we've had people submit their products to be featured on our site. Right. But it's really about, there's a quality check too that we look for. So is it a Black or brown owned product? That's first. And that could be man or woman owned, but is it Black or brown owned? Is it focused on, our primary focus is skincare and hair care.
Okay.
And then cosmetics as a tertiary area. And we have wellness, we have candles, so things of that nature. But we're also looking for products that are clean, that are natural, that are vegan. And clean, natural, and vegan all mean different things. So some of them are all of them, some of them are some of them. But we also do want to focus on products that don't promote toxicity in your skin, because we got enough issues as it is as Black and brown people. So we don't need our skincare products to then be putting toxins in our skin, or our fingernail polish, which has so many toxins. We have a fingernail polish. It's by a company called People of Color, and it's toxic free. Like all of the different things that are in all the fingernail polishes that are popular, they don't have, and it still lasts, and it's great. So we look at stuff like that when we're looking at who we allow on our site. Is a lot of it is very small batch, handmade, but quality.
Gotcha. So y'all found products that meet your standard, your criteria, and that's what you try to bring to the marketplace.
They meet the gold standard. Yes.
Meet the gold standard. Orem standard. Gold, everybody, gold. The gold standard. Orem 79. Look it up. That's awesome. So with all this you've done, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You're
thank
awesome.
You.
I've admired you from afar for a minute. So
thank you.
I know you're doing your thing. And so when you go through all these things, like we talked about the circle of people, the spouses, the support from friends and family, the ups and downs and everything. And you talked about some days you're not motivated and all that kind of stuff. So on the days that you need to be reinvigorated, refreshed, and renewed, who do you turn to, or what do you turn to help you get your mojo back on any given day?
I pray a lot.
Okay.
My hat.
Absolutely.
But first,
I love
let me thank God.
First, let me thank God.
So I pray. I am also lucky that one of my best friends is a therapist, a licensed therapist.
Hey, wow. In-house therapy is nothing like it.
Right. So I can always count on her for very seeing both sides advice. And then sometimes you have to take a minute and just sit with yourself.
Okay.
Like, I'll ask people things or try to get motivated, but it's like, what I find to get reinvigorated, like, what do I like to do when I'm just relaxing and doing nothing? Okay. And when I'm working, I don't get to watch TV. And I know watching TV is like a taboo when it comes to like people say you work hard, turn off your TV, all that stuff. So I don't have my TV on a lot, but I like TV. So I'll light a candle. I love candles. I'll light a candle. I like, or if my space is messy, that stresses me out. So I may wake up, clean up, light a candle, and put the TV on. And then that's my relaxation. Like I can relax that way and then rejuvenate that way. Some people do it with like taking a spa day or a bubble bath with a glass of wine. Some people might need a edible or smoke a little something. It's
it is what it is.
Whatever it is. But I will say it's sometimes it's about talking to other people. Sometimes you just need to sit with yourself. Because if you start to think about some stuff and do what you feel is most relaxing to you, like go ahead and check out. You could be an entrepreneur and check out for a day and then get back to it.
Okay. Well, people, breathe.
Yes.
She's helping you understand. She talks about circles. She talks about taking up space. She talks about understanding what your goals and what you're doing. And take time to make sure that you are okay with you as well. So it's a lot of stuff you're getting in the lab today, so we can keep your businesses off life support. I know a lot of you out there are going through different things, but this Women's Empowerment Series is awesome because we have these wonderful women on here who are powerful and who know because they're doing it, have done it, and are going through it. So we want to make sure everybody stays on top of that kind of stuff. So let me ask you this. Is your why big enough or can it get bigger? The why of why you do what you do.
Oh, that's a good question. It could be bigger.
Okay.
It could be bigger. I feel like this is my first baby. Like,
Okay.
and it was, like I said, birthed out of necessity. It's helping other small Black-owned businesses. Um, so there's a very impactful why behind it, but I'm always like, what's next? Like
Yeah.
there's always a growth opportunity,
Gotcha.
as far as I'm concerned. And this is my first baby, but I don't know if it's my last baby. Like
Right.
it may be us doing our own proprietary products or branching off into specific, beauty areas, or,
Okay.
creating a bigger platform. So I
Hmm.
think this is only the beginning, and it's a good start, but
Hmm.
there's definitely room for growth, and my why could get much bigger later.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, you've been amazing today. I really appreciate you. Let me ask you,
Thank you.
before we go, what do people need to know about getting in touch with you? How can they find you? How can they get Orem Beauty? How can they get it in their lives? Tell them how to reach you. Tell them what they can do to make sure
Yes.
that we expand this plan.
Yes. So our website is Orem, AURUM 79 Beauty, Orem79beauty.com. That's where you can shop, find all the good goods. On Instagram is at Orem79.beauty. So Instagram is where we have most of our content. Sign up for our newsletter. We have a lot of specials and deals and just helpful information that we push out on our newsletter. We have a lot of exciting things coming out in the near future. We're launching a birthday series, so we'll be gifting one person each month. Not month, but each, zodiac period. So Aries starts on March 21st, which is Monday. So March 21st, all Aries, go to our Instagram, sign up. We're giving away a gift every zodiac period. So yes, Orem79beauty.com is the website. Orem79.beauty is our Instagram. Those are the best two places to find us.
Okay. And if a young woman needs to be mentored by you, is there anything she can do to find you? Can she send an email to Orem or something like that?
DM me or DM me on Orem. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
I love that. I'm completely open and interested. I've done some shorter term mentorship programs, but I'm
Okay.
definitely open and interested.
Gotcha. And this is what we're going to do here on the KJ Media Network. If you guys have a packaged commercial or you want to put a packaged commercial together, send it to us. We'll run it.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because what we're doing is we're all over the world. We're on Roku TV. We're on Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV Plus will be up on, and obviously on all internet devices you can see us on. So we're going to be distribution all over the world, and we'll be airing on those networks, and we'll make sure we promote you guys and
Love
let you
it.
guys
Okay.
know that we're in the game together. Okay.
15, 30s, 60s. What you looking for? How long?
30s and 60s.
30s and 60s. Okay.
If you can get,
Okay.
I mean, because once you get past that, you can do a baby infomercial if you want to. But I'm saying but yeah, but definitely.
We'll keep it quick. We know attention spans are short.
Yeah, they are. But look, I appreciate everything. You've been amazing today. This is Bridget Harris. She's a beauty mogul, everybody.
Thank you so much. This was really fun.
It was. And listen,
I appreciate the invite.
anytime you want to come back for a little segment or a little tip or update, we love to have you back as well. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll hold you to it.
Thank you so much for being here.